Social media and pop psych has made the field of psychology extremely reductive. There's a lot of y'all thinking that therapy is simply just asking questions and having a life-changing experience. And I think a lot of y'all will understand a bit more if you were to understand the rigorous process that it takes in order to become a psychologist. So I'm going to explain it to you. Because my process, I feel like I was being jumped into a gang or hazed into some like weird educational sorority, but I digress. I completely understand that this is not everybody's experience. However, so our coursework starts with basic things like clinical interviewing, where we are sitting in class, learning from a book how to ask different types of questions in order to get to the underlying issue. We are taking classes in brain anatomy and having to learn different areas of the brain, how they impact memory, cognition, behaviors, etc. Classes like ethics, psychopathology, teaching us about different disorders. And then we have therapeutic modalities. Again, therapy is more than just asking questions. In therapy, we utilize certain modalities, whether that is cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectical behavioral therapy. Black psychology frameworks may include liberation psychology, African-centered therapy. Not only are we taking coursework, but before we can even meet with a human, we have to start doing role plays. So basically, you are teaming up either with your professor or another classmate. One individual is presenting with a specific diagnosis. The other person, you are presenting as the clinician. And your job is to interview that person until you understand what their disorder is. You are doing a case conceptualization on the spot. You're able to provide a diagnosis by pulling on that person's background, family history, behavioral history, and building a treatment plan, again, on the spot. This is typically audio or video recorded. You usually go through it with your professor one-on-one, or you're going to do it in a classroom style where everybody is watching you one-on-one with the other individual you're role playing with and providing feedback. It definitely felt like a humiliation ritual. Doing the coursework, we are to do practicum. So you're going to spend about 2 to 3 years in order to go through your clinical research or assessment hours. I think I was at hospitals all 3 years. So 2 years at a behavioral hospital, 1 year at a neuropsychological assessment facility. And we're still not able to meet with individuals one-on-one. We are recording our sessions, audio or video, depending on your training site. You are to meet with your supervisor in order to review every single individual that you are meeting with. You're not allowed to do this on your own. You are literally meeting with your supervisor every single week, going over each case by case, looking at, okay, what came up this week? What are the issues? What are the presenting problems? How are you going to address this? This is the gold standard for this issue. Supervisor is also watching your video with you. Shonda, you could have asked this question a bit more in depth. You didn't give them enough time to respond to the question. Shonda, that question was leading. Why don't you ask it this way? The training is extensive because we're working with humans. So after all of that, in your 4th year, you are going through the match process. So y'all seen Match Day on TikTok. Medical students are being matched with different hospitals. Psychology students have to go through the exact same thing. At that point, you're basically learning where you matched, and you basically have to uproot your entire life, and you'll be functioning there as a full-time psychology student. After all of that is done, so another year of that, in your 5th year, if you are choosing to get licensed in a state that requires this, and most states do, you have to do a postdoctoral fellowship with clientele under the supervision of another psychologist, through individual and group supervision. After all of that, then you have to pass the EPPP, which is the examination for practicing psychologists. When we pass that, then you are a licensed psychologist. You can start meeting independently with people. And y'all really think that there are people out here who should be doing this license free?